Hey guys, I'm just jumping back on. I hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday so far. I hope you're having a great start to your day. And I'm just going to jump right into the video. Yesterday, I did a video in which I told you that I was going to jump back on and I was going to talk about dating after 50. But prior to that, I did a video and I was saying that I was going to jump on and talk about domestic violence. So I don't want to drum all of it up in one video. So I'll talk about the domestic violence first, and then later I'll do another video on the dating after 50. So as you know, I am a grandmother. Um, but my grandkids better not call me grandmother. They better not call me grandma. So they can either call me Gigi or they can call me Nana. And really, I'm having an issue with Nana because I don't look like no grandma. I might be one, but I don't look like one. So, but anywho, um, I wanted to jump back on and talk to you guys about domestic violence. Before I get started, I want to say this disclaimer. This is based on people that I know of that have been abused. These are things that I've worked in the mental health field, so I've worked with people that have been abused, and also I am personally speaking from my own experience. That abuse can come in so many different forms and shapes. I didn't really know about what a narcissist was until recently. Somebody I know was married to a narcissist, and then I was watching a talk show, and this lady was married to a narcissist for 20 years, and he had his own children to film him abusing his wife, and so they became brainwashed. They thought that it was normal. You know, they were thinking that there was something that she was doing wrong. She finally was able to get out of that relationship only because she was coming to work, and I guess one of the coworkers started like documenting everything that she saw and everything that the girl had told her about or whatever, and things that she saw, like maybe bruises and things like that. And so when they went to court, that evidence that the coworker documented was able to help help that lady win that case against that guy. He was a narcissist, guys. I'm just now, even though I've been in the mental health field, I'm just now learning more and more about narcissists. There was a young lady on Facebook that said she was involved with a narcissist for a number of years, and she was saying that it was one of the worst relationships she's ever been in, and she was saying that she she started exhibiting those behaviors even after she got out of the relationship finally, and it took a while to get out of that relationship. A narcissist doesn't ever accept accountability for anything they do. They blame everything on the other person. They're very grandiose, have a very grandiose attitude. It's a lot of different things that I've read about and studied here lately regarding narcissists. But this young lady was saying that even after she got out of that relationship, that she was exhibiting those behaviors because she had been with that person for so long. And I can really understand that and relate to that. Sometimes when you're in a relationship for so long, again, it kind of becomes normalized to you, or you do start behaving like the other person that you've been around for so long, until you completely heal and unlearn those behaviors. I believe that anything that's learned can be unlearned, but you have to, after being with somebody for so long and being around that, it's like you're in a fight or flight mode. And so you tend to acquire behaviors that you normally, don't have, or that you didn't exhibit before getting into a relationship with that person. And I can really, really relate to that. Abuse comes in all kind of different forms, guys. There can be mental abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse. And that's why, I try to teach my daughter, and I try to teach my grandchildren that I get being married and, being in a relationship with somebody, but a lot of people share accounts, bank accounts and different things with their husbands, and they're quick to get their names, both their names on things. And I just was taught a little bit differently. I don't have a joint account with. I don't want to jump into. I have a husband that I briefly talked about. We've been separated for about a year and a half. This is not our first separation. This is like the second or third. I don't really like to talk too much about it. It has been a very toxic marriage. He doesn't want to let go, and I'm ready to let go. I've been ready to let go. You know how sometimes you just kind of check out. I've been checked out mentally and emotionally for so long. Um, it's a lot that goes off into it, so I don't really want to go too much into it. I, as you guys know, he comes from a very close knit family, and I just think that when you come from a close knit family and you're married to someone that doesn't come from a close knit family, he has the support in so many ways, both financial. They're so there for him in any and every way. Financially, they are very, very well off, and they are really respected in the community and in the workplace. I don't have anything bad to say about them. There are just so many things that I disagree with, um, how things have been handled. When you don't hold someone accountable for their actions and you just constantly reward them, reward them, reward them. If the family doesn't hold that person accountable, they don't they don't know how to hold themselves accountable either. And that's what's been happening. So financial abuse, I'm gonna go back to that, is one aspect, and that's why I don't believe in having joint accounts. And I think that even if you're one of those that do believe in having a joint account with your husband, I still think you should have your own separate account. I think you should have your own car. I think you should have, things that's separate from the husband, even if you have the closest relationship, just because you never know what might happen. No, nobody plans for divorce. Nobody plans for separation or for things to go awry. And so just because we don't know how things may go, I still think it's best to just have your own everything, so that when it is time, if something does happen and you need to leave, you have a way out. And in my experience, it's been difficult and it's been challenging for me, and I know other people it's been challenging for them to be able to leave situations because they didn't have the money, they didn't have the finances, they didn't have the emotional support, financial support. Um, they didn't have the support that they needed, and so there's been a lot of things that people judge. People make assumptions and people judge, well, she's been with them for X amount of time. And, if it had been me, I would have left a long time ago. Guys, don't do that. Let's not do that, because unless you are living what that person is living, you don't really know what you would do in a situation. And we make assumptions without having full facts. And so I want to go over some of the reasons why women, I'm speaking from myself and people that I know, get into relationships that are unhealthy, that are toxic, that are abusive. I think it starts in the home. I think environment plays a whole lot. What have that person seen in their own home, in their own lives? What have they experienced in their own lives? Um, I think it stems from low self esteem. I think it stems from not knowing your worth a lot of times. I think it stems from not having self love. I think it stems from just wanting a family or wanting to be married so badly that we rush sometimes to get into relationships before we fully and completely get to know people thoroughly. I've seen this. I've watched so many crime shows. I've watched so many shows, guys, where the girlfriend or the wife gets killed by the husband, the ex-boyfriend, the current boyfriend. I've watched so many of that, so much of that. And I'm just like, a lot of the things that I've researched and that I've looked at, I'm just like, most of the time it's like we women we move guys in too quickly before we fully get to know them. We don't ask the right questions in the dating process. Are there any mental illnesses that run in your family? Um, are there any like disorders, other disorders that run in your family, like medical history? Um, have you ever committed a crime before? Um, has anyone in your family committed a crime before? Even if they don't have a mental illness, does your mom or brother, does anyone else in the family have a mental illness? These things, how are you with children? How are you when you get angry? These are things that we're not asking in the dating process. And then also, um, paying attention to red flags. If you've dated a person 2 or 3 times, how are they when they get angry? Are they jealous? That's another question that should be asked. Are they a jealous hearted person? Are they controlling? These questions should be asked in the dating process, so then you can know if you want to proceed with becoming their girlfriend or boyfriend, or if you want to marry this person. And we shouldn't overlook those things when we see them or when they give us those answers. We shouldn't overlook it thinking that, oh, we can change them. I was watching this show. I forgot the name of it, but it's a YouTube channel where this guy goes out and he interviews people on the street. And most of the time they're women. And they're women that are addicted to drugs, or they're prostituting, or they're strung out, different things like that. So he was interviewing this young lady, and she was saying that the reason why she ended up out on the streets, she wasn't addicted to drugs, but she had been out on the streets. Her teeth were pretty badly messed up, even though she said she didn't do drugs. She said it was from her just haven't, had any work done to her teeth in so long. And something else she said, I forgot, it was some other reason why her teeth ended up like they were. On the outside, somebody would assume that she was a drug addict, but she wasn't. But she was still out on the streets. She was living from pillar to post. She didn't have a permanent place to live. And she was out there, and he was interviewing her, and he asked her, well, how did you end up, have you talked to your parents? When's the last time you talked to them? And how did you end up in this situation? And one of the things that stands out to me, guys, is that she said she felt like a burden. She didn't want to cause no more stress on her family, on her mom, and she felt like a burden on them. And so she left. This girl was in the Junior Olympics before. She was competitive gymnast. And so I also wanted to talk a little about that. She said that her family allowed a family member to attend, like she would go to the Junior Olympics and she would go to these trainings and competitions and things like that. And they allowed a family member to travel with her. This family member was a little bit older than her, and some things transpired. So I just want us to be more careful in the days and times that we're living in, guys. I just want us to be so much more careful, like as parents, as mothers, as women who have sons. Like, we just need to be more careful. Like, if we can't attend everything with our children. We can't. But we have to make sure that we can really, really trust the person that we have around our kids, guys. It's just so many things that we need to do better. A lot of things stem from, like I said, not having self-love, not having low, not knowing your worth, our worth. A lot of things stem from the home. A lot of runaways, which I believe are treated so badly because society considers them to be like problem or troubled kids. Well, what's causing the trouble? What's causing them to run away? That's why I have such a passion for disadvantaged youth. All of this ties in together, guys, to what I'm talking about. What's going on in the home that's causing them to run away? I think society just looks at runaways as problem kids that just don't want to mind or follow rules. And can be so far from the truth. What's causing them to run away in the home? Is there abuse? Are they being neglected? Are they getting their needs met? Do they feel valued? So we got to do a lot more digging, and it takes a hard look at ourselves first of all. And a lot of people don't want to be honest with themselves, but I want to come and tell you that you can't change what you don't even see is wrong. You can't change what you don't even acknowledge. If you don't see nothing wrong, how can you change the behavior? How can you change the action? And so that's why I want to conduct the youth workshops, the parent workshops, not because I'm perfect, because I'm imperfect and I'm learning a better way now that I know my worth, because I didn't have life spoken over me. I did not. I love my mom dearly, but she didn't speak life into me. She had no faith, no hope in me. So I'm saying all that to say that there are many forms of abuse. And I believe it stems from different things. Us getting into the wrong relationship stems from also loneliness. I didn't grow up with a close-knit family, and I still don't have a close-knit family. And a lot of times I remember being lonely. I didn't have cousins that after the age of 14, we didn't hang out. I didn't have a close aunt, a close cousin that I stayed in constant contact with. Some people's cousins are like their sisters. They're like their siblings. They grew up together and they're so close. Well, when you don't have that, you look for that in men. When you don't have that love at home, that's why we need to do better with showing our kids love, making sure we talk to them about their voices are important. What they have to say matters. A lot of times in the Black community, we don't want to listen to our children. We cut them off. And I'm coming from experience. I'm trying to unlearn a lot of bad things, a lot of wrong things. How about if you know that if when you know more, when you're more informed, then you can do better. And so, but it still takes a lot of being honest with yourself. And I just want to jump on and just, tell somebody out there that it's not too late to become a better parent. It's not too late to start loving yourself and knowing what your worth is. Because once you know your worth, it is a game changer. I wanted to also say that anybody out there that's neglecting their children, neglect is a form of abuse, guys. If you're not giving your wife or your children time and attention, and once a month, once every 2 months, that's not enough. That's neglect. Neglect is a form of abuse. If you're putting something else before them consistently and your children are lacking the attention, they're lacking that playtime. They're lacking if your wife is lonely right in the same house with you because you're paying more attention to whatever else. That is neglect and it's a form of abuse. And so I'm just saying all this to say that we have to want to do better. We have to, and I'm one of those type of people that I want to do better. I want to be a better me. It takes reading. There's so many more resources nowadays, guys. It takes reading. It takes research. It takes realizing that, hey, if you have trauma, past trauma that's never been dealt with or addressed, I've said this in other videos, then what are you doing to get help for that trauma? We can no longer just sit idly by and say, I've got trauma, but you're not trying to move forward in any direction to get help for that trauma. And you see that it's affecting every other relationship that you have. It's affecting your work relationships. It's affecting your spouse relationship or your boyfriend girlfriend relationship or your children relationship. Then what are you doing to get help for that? You're just going to keep using that as an excuse, but not trying to do something to fix it so you can better your relationships. So I'm saying all this because it is near and dear to my heart. And I just wanted to jump on here quickly to talk about these things. And if you have anything that you want to talk about, I'm not an expert, but I have, again, worked in the mental health field. I have seen a lot working in that field. I've also experienced my own things personally. I've seen things within my own family. I've seen things in my friends' relationships. People have come to me about things. I watch a lot of different types of shows, and I do a lot of research. And so I am speaking from my own personal experiences. I'm not an expert, but because I am someone who has suffered from abuse, I am someone who did not have a support system, who do not have the financial means to get out of certain situations. I just wanted to jump on here and say, God, thanks be to God, I made it through it. I made it through it. But I understand what it's like to not have the financial means, not have the support system that someone else has, to feel like you're alone out there. I understand. But you got to do it if you don't have nobody else. You got to do it for you because you are important to God and you should be important to you. You have to realize your self-worth and you have to learn to love yourself, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. None of us are perfect, but you got to embrace and love all of you and know that you are worthy of being treated with honor and respect. And so that's what I have for you today. Those are my daily nuggets. That's what I wanted to talk about. I'll be talking about the dating and things like that on a different vlog. But if you want to jump in the chat and say anything, let me know what topics you would want to talk about or you want me to talk about. then just drop me something. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I hope you're having an even better week. Sorry, I look a little bit tired in the eyes. I'm a little tired this afternoon rather. But that's all I have for right now, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.